Yeah.
What was that she said?
She wanted to be 20.
You wanted to be 21.
Go to the club.
Maybe I should have started with 21. Nature with her friends. And she thought that that would make her happy. Now, at this point, that would make her happy. Now, at this point, don't tell me if that made you happy or not. Okay? Anybody else want to tell me, Dorothy? You wanted money? You wanted money, big house, a husband, and I missed the last part. All righty. Who else? Dave?
I was 20. I thought education was instilled. I was raised in the South during turbulent times. I integrated to school, and education was supposed to be the success where you could go in any direction to satisfy whatever your desires were. And just like Miss Sarah, I wanted to sow my oats a little bit.
Kevin? Minister Parker.
I was in college, so I wanted to graduate and have a good job. I wanted a family with 2 kids. Graduate and have a good job. I wanted a family with 2 kids. I wanted to have a nice car, and I wanted to be able to travel.
Sharon?
Well, when I was 20, I was thinking I wanted to be a model.
You wanted what?
A model.
You wanted to be a model
And famous.
and famous. And what?
A star.
A star. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. You go, girl. All right. Okay. Who else? Sam?
When I was 20 years old, I remember having a conversation with a guy named Tony from Schwinn Bison.
Were you happy?
I was happy because I didn't achieve being a model and a star, you know.
So,
Street goals, you know.
so the first set of goals did not work out for happiness, so you created a new. Okay. Who else? Kevin, yours.
But more I had joy, I had peace, I would say.
What about the kids?
But more I had joy, I had peace, I would say.
What about the kids?
Have kids. Have
2.
kids going into it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All
So
right.
I did it out of order, you know.
So, were you happy?
Moments of happiness. I had joy because I had joy because I wondered why it took me so long to receive Christ, I think. And so, no, at 40, yes, I did. I said, why did I wait so long? But anyway, I had gotten through that phase of, you know, trying everything, though. You know, like everybody else said, clubs,
Okay.
all of that.
Okay, all right. So, Dave, all right, how about you, Dorothy?
And I was more, you know, too, it wasn't about at 40, it wasn't about all of that, the money. I realized you could be happy without all the money. You got someone that loves you, and you know, love each other.
So, at 40, you had Sam.
And I was more in church and I understood, hey, some stuff you ask for God to say no.
Okay. But at 40, you had Sam. You had kids. Did you have the fence? You have a fence now? Do you?
I was a lot more happier, but I wasn't completely content.
Okay.
No, it didn't take me, just took me a few years to learn that that wasn't enough. It took me a few years to learn that at Washington Park. And I was beginning to really get serious about Christ, where I hadn't been before. And I was really getting serious. And I had already learned that the club was very important.
Okay. All right. Okay. What about now?
Now,
At 60 plus.
now, I think I'm happy. I really do. I think I am. I have two children that mature on me, and I'm secure. I'm secure, and I have learned down through the years to love the Lord,
You've learned down through the years what?
to know 86.
6 years old. Do you know I think about you almost every Wednesday as to whether or not you're going to be here.
We need to be in Bible study, right?
Yes. Yes. Especially as we've gotten colder. And I think to myself, what makes an 86-year-old lady with all the aches and pains that you have push her way out here? And it's because of the word. And you just answered that. And that means something to you, and you come out for that, and that means a great deal in your life. And that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. To me, it is. I don't know what it means to all of you, but to me, that is absolutely amazing. Not that, Dave, it's not amazing for you. You're up there as well in this.
Yeah, I had God with me, but I wasn't, I pretty much.
Well, wait a minute. I heard it from Kevin. Yeah.
I had God with me because I was brought up in church. You know what I mean? I always had my background in church, but I went out and partied and I did the things of my youth.
So did you really have him with you?
Well, he was there, but I don't think he left me, but I didn't put him on the throne of my heart at that time.
Praying grandmother.
Say that again, Dave.
Yeah, we all have praying grandmothers.
Right, but let me ask you, do you think in retrospect that you were really saved back then?
Yeah, because once you go up and you give your, like, you know, I joined church at 12, okay? So, I mean, that put me in some kind of position, by what I was taught and learned.
Yeah, it puts you in the position of church membership.
Okay, but the salvation started then because it's always a progression. It's always a progression. You understand what I'm saying? I went out and joined, but maybe I didn't have the whole picture and fact right, so I went another way, but something was still calling me back. Something was still there saying, over here. You know,
Was it a seed?
he was
A
playing.
seed, but was it salvation? Were you saved then? And all of us have to answer that question. All of us have to answer that question. You know, we may have been in the church. Everybody in here to think back over your life of being in the church, thinking you were saved. Maybe you were. but maybe you weren't. You were, but maybe you weren't. And when was it that you got saved if you weren't saved?
Say it's when you didn't even realize, I mean, when you finally feel, I mean, you know, because even, you know, I mean, we still sin now, but we were sinning then too, but we was going to church, but you got convicted along the way, to change your ways, you know, the conviction comes in, well, really, that's what I shouldn't be doing.
Okay. All right. I just want you to think about it. Kevin, you were going to say something.
Oh,
You had your hand up.
oh, for that part, I didn't, yeah, I really didn't, I came to Christ at 40. Are you asking at 40 or now?
I don't know. You had your hand up.
I think I just, I don't think I have a question.
Okay. Dave, did you want to say something? You're thinking awfully hard there.
I was thinking, I want to say I was saved, but to be honest with you, your teaching, when I joined Great Zion,
You went.
when I joined Great Zion, my eyes opened up a lot in your teaching. Your teaching was different than what I was brought up under. I thought I was saved, but just like now, you ask these pointed questions that make you question.
You're saved.
If you're saved.
Yeah.
You didn't do that then, but your teachings led me to believe that maybe I wasn't. You know, when we leave here, we want to be able to share the word with someone else, what we just heard. And I was trying to think whether I'd ever try to do that before I was under your leadership. To be honest with you, I have to question whether I was saved.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Lise, did I see you a hand? What'd she say? Oh, she was scratching her head. Okay. All right. Anybody want to add anything in there? Okay, now. What makes you happy, content, fulfilled now?
I'm happy because I have grown more to understand the purpose of why I'm serving God and what it's all about. Because I didn't know much. You know, I knew what I knew, but I have a closer walk with the Lord now than I did back then. So that makes me happy.
Say that again.
I have a closer walk with the Lord now than I did back then because I have grown over the years with His lead and guidance.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So, all right, before I ask that question, who else? Are you happy now? Are you content now? Are you fulfilled now?
I think the fact that my kids are grown and doing all right, I think it's,
No, that's not what I want. You were on to it a moment ago. I have learned to be content in whatever state
yeah,
I'm in. So, what makes your happiness now as opposed to 20?
my,
What did you find out along the way?
my spiritual growth, so my closeness to the Lord, what feeds me now didn't feed me back then. It's just an entire different level of peace that I have, just a closer walk with God.
Okay, so Were all of you saved at 20?
No,
I was not.
I was still wayward.
Here's what's funny, Pastor. When I was in the military, I went after college, and I would get out of basic training to go to church. And the only reason I did it, because one, you got out of cleaning, and to hear the music. And that was my release for the week, you know, getting away from all that training and cleaning back at the barracks. And now I see how little things that I was picking up then, as Sharon was alluding to, where you start to, there's little things that stay in your mind that you were hearing. Certain songs, some words that were shared back when you were there. There was a kid in college that was, I mean, he was like a preacher, basically a street preacher, going to dorm, and he would get with the fellas and preaching to us. And I just think how even those things were instrumental in bringing me along to the point where I received Christ.
Okay, but now, when I asked the question just now,
I said I was. I mean,
I'm talking about at the second question.
no, I'm saved now. You know.
No. I just asked the question, how many of you were saved at 20? And you said you were the first one to say no.
Well, I mean, I was.
Did you hear her say that?
Yeah, I didn't know. I might have said I was wayward at 20. I mean, yeah, at 20 I was wayward, but that didn't mean I probably wouldn't say.
You didn't say no to that
I
question.
don't think so, Pastor. I said I was wayward.
Huh?
I was saying no, kind of loud, no.
Maybe you thought.
All right, maybe I heard someone else. Okay, all right, okay. As nice as a marriage and 2 kids, did it really make you happy?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
In a sense, yes. I think there were moments of happiness. I don't think it was complete happiness.
It made me happy to be married. It did.
Is that so? If you would have died at that point, would you have been really fulfilled?
That's a trick question. Because,
Sharon, you're my difficult child.
but I mean, you're happy. Okay, now I'm dying. Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't want to die without Christ, okay?
That's what I'm getting to. That's what this whole Ecclesiastes is about.
When I got saved at 40, though, Pastor, when you asked me that, I was saved, married, and everything.
But at 20, you had things in your mind that would make your life just as happy as and whatever. Yeah. And then, at 40, you look back and you say, it did not do it. It just didn't do it. And then more decades, and without God, it just didn't do it. But even with God and a perfection and a growth of Him in your life, you see, they're still lacking. Okay, now turn to Kings, the book of Kings, 1 Kings. We haven't even got into Ecclesiastes yet. Yeah.
Chapter.
1 Kings chapter 4. Verse 29 through 34. Kevin, read that for me, will you? Can you get a mic? Yeah, you have the mic.
No,
Okay, where's that portable mic that Dewana had? Yeah, can you go up there for me? Yeah, there you go. 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 29 through 34. Everybody turn there. Now read what that says.
Verse 29. And God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country and all the wisdom of Egypt. For he was wiser than all men, than Ethan and Ezrahite and Heman and Calcol and Darda, the sons of Mahal, and his fame was, and he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. Down to 34.
Yes, keep going.
And he spake of trees from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts and of fowl, and of creeping things and fishes. And there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon from all the kings of the earth, which had heard of his wisdom.
So, thank you. So, he spoke all those proverbs, 3,000 is in there, that people came from everywhere to ask Solomon questions. Can you imagine? That would be like, it's one thing for somebody in a congregation to come to me and ask me a question about the Bible, or someone to come from maybe Harrisburg to ask me a question. But what about if somebody came from all over the world and lined up outside because of the wisdom that God had given me? Now, God had asked Solomon, what take? If God would ask you, you can have anything. Anything.
Today or back then, Pastor, because
Yes,
that makes a
back then,
difference.
I mean, you would have went for greed.
That
back
makes
then.
a difference.
Yeah, you would have went for greed.
What stage?
Back then, give me money, give me this, give me that, you know? But now,
He asked Solomon what he wanted.
I wonder how old he was. Does it give him?
I'm not sure. But what did Solomon ask for? Wisdom.
God overblessed him.
And God gave him not only wisdom, but great wealth as well.
don't get me wrong, I'm glad, but Solomon, look at his position he was in. Wasn't he king already and stuff like that, and he was already kept, well, we did too. But I mean, he was just this different mindset. He had a different mindset. I don't know. He was king, and he came through what we came through too. But I don't know. Pastor, it was a different way for him then, you know, compared to us coming along. I don't know. You know, for him to say wisdom, he was in that position, and that's what he wanted. You know, I don't know where God would have put us if we asked him for it. I guess that don't make sense, because we should ask for wisdom too, you know? We should ask him for wisdom too. I mean, you know, as I'm saying it, it's coming apart in my mind, you know?
Yeah.
Putting her like, what do you want? We should have been smart enough to say something that he would give us instead of greed, like money, fame, fortune. We're like, he didn't. You know, he had enough knowledge to say, I want wisdom. I mean, that's, you know, where he was. But us, even though we might have came through something, we probably would have said money, greed, the white picket fence, you know, things like that. So,
But even though he asked for that, it still wasn't enough.
What was that, Denise?
Even though
He wasn't satisfied.
It's not, it's all, no, it's like an insatiable.
And he had everything.
He wasn't even satisfied with that.
Yeah.
And that vexed him. We're going to see it in chapter 2.
And I was just saying to Kevin before you came, like the tone of this book is very sort of melancholy, like a very almost like are you depressed?
Are you what?
Like depressed or I don't know.
Vanity of vanities.
Yes.
It's like the extreme of vanities. All is vanities. Saith the preacher, it's all vanity. That's what I'm trying to get at. When you were 20 and you thought that all of this would make you happy and you pursued it in your strongest years, you got to 40, you realized it didn't. And then at 40, you thought things would. And it did not. And you got to 60, and it did not. And then you realize life is running out. Now, I'm speaking to the choir in here because you all are saved. But if I was speaking to a mixed group of saved and unsaved, I would have a captivated group here because it's only God in your life that's going to bring that contentment, that fulfillment. Now, Kevin, what did you find out?
Well, I looked up the scripture I'm seeing in 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 7, when right after God has asked him, what shall I give, Lord my God? Thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. He's saying he's a child. Now, I think scholars say late teens or 20s. When he was
Late
king.
teens or 20s.
Right. I know not